evening, Sentinels fans, and welcome into the Athens Ford Arena here in Athens, Georgia. Andy Petzinger welcoming you into the Body Armor pregame show as we get set for the Indiana Sentinels and the Athens Rock Lobsters, who drop the puck here in game 1 of 2 this weekend. It is rodeo night here at the Athens Ford Arena. We've got a whole lot of fun going on outside, a petting zoo. We've got bull riding going on outside, so it should be a really good atmosphere. Tomorrow we've got Star Wars night as well, so you might not see a lot of me. I might be running around playing with the lightsabers and meeting Darth Vader and all that good stuff. But tonight, Friday night, it's the Sentinels and the Rock Lobsters. Sentinels coming off of a victory yesterday, last weekend, I should say, played spoiler against the Topeka Scarecrows. Topeka, with a win, would have picked up a playoff spot. They would have clinched their playoff spot, but the Sentinels did not allow that to happen, and it was because of a comeback down by 2 goals over halfway through the third period. Started out with Ethan Esposito on a 2-on-1, beautiful pass from Jay Buchholz to find Esposito driving to that back post. He potted it home, made it 2-1. Richie Colarusso a couple moments later on the redirect from the shot by Bozanchenko at the blue line, tipped it home. That got us to overtime. The boys with a huge kill in OT, really selling out the body. Chris Kerr was phenomenal in net, had all 3 guys in front of him out there for almost a full 2 minutes. And they did just a spectacular job to get it to the shootout, which is where Jay Buchholz came in and won the game-winning shootout goal, his first goal in the FPHL, and it was a beauty. Just rolled down Broadway and flipped it up underneath the crossbar to make it a 3-2 Sentinels victory. And this weekend, the Sentinels coming into Athens, trying to continue their spoiler role by stealing a game or 2 from the Rock Lobsters. Athens, they're heading to the playoffs no matter what, but if they want to stay in that number 1 spot, they're going to have to put some wins together. They're 2-1 in their last 5. Monroe is right on their tail. They are only 4 points off of Athens. Athens got 116 points. Monroe sitting with 112, and those 2 teams play. They already played each other Sunday and Tuesday of this week. Sunday was an overtime victory for Athens right here, 3-2 at the Athens Ford Arena. Then on Tuesday, Monroe came back with a 6-3 victory over Athens and had over 50 shots on net. Keep that in the back of your mind. We're going to come back to that point in just a moment. But these 2 teams, they also play each other twice more next week, Monroe and Athens. So it's going to be a dogfight for that top spot, and the Sentinels are going to try to get into the way of the Athens Rock Lobsters. So for our pregame interview, I did have a chance to talk with Corey Cunningham before the game just about what it means to play that spoiler role and coming into to Athens. He knows this place well. He used to be on Monroe, so he knows this building pretty well. So let's kick it over to our interview with Corey Cunningham. Andy Petzinger downstairs pregame with Corey Cunningham. Corey, you got some battle wounds on you. You got a scar on your nose. You got a chipped tooth. How you healing up?
Healing up just fine. Cap came off in the Binghamton series and had my nose bashed in, but yeah, always ready to play.
That's just a sign that it's late in the season, right?
That's right. That's right. A little extra grit.
Very good. Well, you're one of our newer guys on this team, and you've been around the block for a little bit as well. So you're starting to find your sea legs just a little bit with the Sentinels.
Yeah, it's been good. Quite the family here. Guys are great. We're here to battle. We're here to get better, build for next year, and Indiana's been home, and it's been great. I've been liking it so far.
Talked a little bit to a couple of guys after morning skate about that last victory against Topeka and how it was a really nice come-from-behind effort for the guys. Could have just packed it in and said, all right, well, there's 2 losses. But is that sort of the culture that you guys are trying to grow in this locker room?
Yeah, we're never going to give up. We're never going to give up on any play, any game. Each night we let our emotions about 10, 20 minutes soak, melt, think about what we did wrong or what we did good. And then the next night, it's a new day. It's a new day. Same guys, gonna go battle, going to war together. That's the atmosphere that we're building here. That's our team. It's a family. It's a very special spot.
You were in Monroe for a little while, so you're pretty well acquainted with this Athens squad. So talk to me a little bit about the Rock Lobsters. Obviously, they're a very offensively proficient team, but they also give up quite a few shots on net.
They're very offensive minded. They got some superstars over there for sure. They got the Milan guy and Shinkarik. Their leaders over there are guys that have got it done in other leagues, and they're here and they're ready to try to dominate this league. That's their goal. They're trying to win, trying to bring a championship to Athens. So we're a newer program starting up. We want to take them down. We want to show these guys that we don't respect them at all. We're coming in here and we're the new program now. We're coming in, we want to take everything that they have. They have this nice arena. You know, it'd be nice to have that too.
It's ours.
But
We're
at the
taking
end
it home.
at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're in the same league. You know, we're all people. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's your biggest key to victory then?
Grind them down right away. Make them not want to play. Call them squids. Yeah. The ET said call them squids, get in their head. So yeah, that's the game plan tonight. Be rough and tough, and we're excited. I think the boys are ready.
All right, there you have it. Corey Cunningham. It's the Sentinels and the Squids coming up next. Back upstairs with the Body Armor pregame show. All right, big thanks to Corey Cunningham. I'm sure calling them the Squids on the ice is surely going to get underneath their skin. All right, we'll step aside for a commercial break and be right back after this. You're watching the Indiana Sentinels Body Armor pregame show live right here on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Scott and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
Welcome back to the Indiana Sentinels Body Armor pregame show. All right, so the Sentinels are here in Athens looking to take on one of the top teams in the league. They are number one in the Continental Division, and they could put up a whole lot of points. Take a quick look here at what they're able to do on the ice. They have 10 guys who are at a point per game or above on this team. So this is a team who certainly likes to put the puck in the back of the net and are able to find ways to do so successfully up and down their lineup. So there are no breaks against this team. It is pretty much all offense all the time. However, they do also give up a lot of shots because they are so offensive minded. They have only given up under 30 shots on goal in a game only 10 times this season. I mentioned last game against Monroe. They gave up 56 shots in that game. The last 5 games that Athens has played, they're averaging 46.6 shots against per game. So there is an opportunity there for the Sentinels to put a lot of pucks on net and to cash in on rebounds and garbage that's left up in the slot. Back in October when these two teams met, the Sentinels put up over 50 shots on net against the Rock Lobsters back on October the 18th in that 7-2 loss at home. So it certainly can be done. And, you know, if Athens thinks that they're going to get the same kind of walk in the park that they got earlier this season, they are definitely sorely mistaken. There are only 3 players remaining from that weekend still playing on the Sentinel team. And the Sentinels are just about fully healthy for the first time in a while as well. They've got Seth Bacon, Noah Hippolyte-Smith, and Phil Tomacek returning to the lineup tonight. All three of them missed last weekend. Bacon had an injured foot. Hippolyte-Smith had an injured eye. He took a butt end of the stick in Binghamton, or butt end with a stick to the eye against Binghamton. That left him partially blind for a little bit, but he's all good now. And Phil Tomacek had a throat injury that kept him out for the weekend. But all three are back. They will give the Sentinels a big boost, and having those three return is certainly going to be a whole lot of help. It's also going to be the very first FPHL game for Donovan Powell. And Donovan Powell is a guy that Everett Thompson is extremely excited about. Take a look at him right there. Came from Buffalo State University for 2 years. He's got 11 goals, 10 assists, 21 points in that time span. But he really likes Donovan Powell. He's got some good size, and he's not afraid to go hard to the net, Donovan Powell. So we're really excited to see what he could do here for the Sentinels group, almost like a Phil Tomacek type of player. So Donovan Powell will certainly help out quite a bit. He was supposed to play last week, but he missed last week because he contracted pneumonia. So he's certainly happy to be back on the board here with the Indiana Sentinels. That is for sure. All right, and just to close everything out, one more note. Jay Buchholz is not with the Indiana Sentinels this weekend. He will not be part of the Sentinels group this weekend. So he is certainly a relatively big loss based on how well that he played last weekend against Topeka, but the Sentinels, they will persevere. That is for sure. All right, the three keys to the game, as so told by me. First and foremost, don't let the speed of the game intimidate you. Athens, like I said, it's pretty much all offense all the time. They're going to try to put you on your heels. This barn gets pretty rocking pretty quick as well. Not to make a rock lobsters pun or anything, but this barn can get loud. So don't let the speed of the game intimidate you. Try to push it back down their throat first. Stay out of the penalty box against these guys. This is the third best penalty kill in the Continental Division. They're 21, almost 22% conversion rate. Don't give them any more ammo than they need to try to throw pucks on net. And my number 3 thing, net front presence. That's why it's important to have guys like Phil Tomacek and Donovan Powell on the team. Got to get to the front of the net, clean up that garbage. It's not going to be pretty goals for you today, but they're going to go into the net if you are able to go to the net. All right, that'll do it for us here for the Body Armor pregame show. We're going to step aside and be back for the starting lineups of the national anthem right after this. You are watching the Indiana Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated. Encore. After encore. After encore. Next thing you know, it felt just like this. Come on. Vitamin water from New York.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
out here in Georgia. It's a high of 81 today. An absolutely gorgeous day for hockey. But we are inside now and ready for the Sentinels and the Rock Lobsters to go head to head. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Athens Arena here in Athens, Georgia. Got the Rock Lobsters and the Sentinels about to drop the puck. Both teams are heading out onto the ice. The Sentinels coming off of a win in Topeka, now at 13-34. 4-0 on the season, 40 points. That's 7th in the Empire Division. Meanwhile, Athens is 41-10, 1-0, 116 points. First in the Continental Division, but as I said in the pregame show, they lost their last game against Monroe. They're on a one-game losing streak, and in the last 5, they are 2-1. So the Sentinels trying to catch a bit of a sleeping giant here just before the playoffs get going. And hopefully they're able to put some pucks on the board here pretty early against this Rock Lobsters squad. All right, we'll send it on downstairs for the remaining of the starting lineups and the national anthem. All right, very good. We are just about ready for hockey. Let's take a look at your starting lineups for the Indiana Sentinels. They're going to start with Christers, Bormanis, Dalton Anderson, and Bozinchenko up front, with Ivan Panovanov, Cole Willett on the back end, and your starting goaltender is Chris Kerr. He'll be in between the pipes for the second straight game. Your goaltenders tonight: Chris Kerr getting the call, as I said, 5-9-2, 337 goals against, a 908 save percentage. Going up against Matt Sales. Sales was on PD, came over to Athens back in February, I believe, and is 3-0 with Athens with a 339 goals against overall. He is 6-4 with a 3.63 goals against and an 892 save percentage. He is in between the pipes for the Rock Lobsters. So, bit of an interesting thought process here for Athens as they don't go with their number one goaltender, Carter McPhail, trying to give him a bit of a rest. He is the backup goaltender today. And they go with the third string, Matt Sales, trying to get him a look before the playoffs come around, and it gives the Sentinels an opportunity to try to hop on a goaltender who doesn't really have the best numbers of all time. Try to hop on him quick and early and maybe put a seed of doubt in the back of his mind as well. As always, the first period for Sentinel Hockey brought to you by Sprague Hotel Developers. I like the starting lineup here for Everett Thompson, putting Zinchenko with Bormanis and Dalton Anderson. Anderson has done a really nice job in the face-off circle as of recent. So he's a good guy to have out there to try to win those draws and get control right off the bat. We know Bozinchenko could put the puck in the back of the net, and Bormanis, he's not afraid to go to the net either. He's not afraid to get his hands a little bit dirty and try to go to the front of the net and stir up a little bit of trouble. So might give a little bit more leeway to guys like Zinchenko and Anderson, who we've seen can put the puck in the back of the net. Anderson likes to score in doubles. He's got two goal games on this season. So when he scores, he's a good guy to watch and maybe get a second one on the day. But Zinchenko, a former Athens Rock Lobsters, only played 2 games with Athens, but like I said, I really like this matchup here for Everett Thompson to start out the game, and here we go. We are underway here at the Athens Ford Arena. Rock Lobsters looking to come in, pass out towards the middle of the ice. Zinchenko there to take it away. He'll start moving out to the neutral zone. Can't get it out on the first try. Held in. That's Neely with it. Taken away by the Sentinels and cleared right back out to the neutral zone, where Neely will turn it right back in. You see that quick transition game. Here's Gus Ford. Ford is 1 goal away from 200 in his FPHL career. Once he hits that milestone, he will be the 6th player to ever to do so. Very big accomplishment to a guy who's new to Athens. Spent most of his time out in Carolina with the Thunderbirds. This one bounces up at Hippolyte Smith. The shot save made. Rebound! Got behind the goaltender. Sails, and he's able to sweep it away. That's what I'm talking about. Shots on this kid early and often. Here comes Athens over the line. Leifers looking out to the middle of the ice. A snapshot gobbled up there by Kerr, and he will hang on to it. So Noah Hippolyte Smith in his first shift back after a couple of games away. Throwing the puck on net early. It bounced off the blocker of Sales directly up into the air and behind him. And nearly bounced towards the back of the net. It was about a foot or so away from the goal line. Face off to the left of Kerr. Off the draw, the Rock Lobsters control. Virgili moving it along. It's at the side of the net. Leifers trying to kick that one home. Kerr was down, did not allow that one to come through. Here's Tomacek. He's paired up with Powell. Pass up ahead for the late man, and Hippolyte Smith was out of his reach and turned right back again by the Rock Lobsters. Leafers will leave it on for Virgili. Long shot from the blue line goes tumbling above the air. Ross unable to clear that one out, whipped on the first clearing attempt. And now Tomacek will look over his options. Ross with it. Over the blue line, or over the red line, pardon me. He'll dump that one in, go off for a line change. Goes to the corner. Cunningham took a stick up high. We're not going to get a call. They battle for it in the corner. Pops free, and the Rock Lobsters are able to get this one out to the neutral zone. Lease is there to cut it off, though. And he'll dump it right back in. Back to grab it for Athens. Devin Maye. Move that one up ahead. Over the line they come, in behind the net. Maye takes a hit there in the corner. Comes out to the blue line. D they go. Long shot here. Redirected in front, just wide of the net. Tip in front there from Joe Mack. Didn't miss by much. Now creeping and walking to the bottom of the circle. Big save there by Kerr. That shot from Paralat was denied by Kerr. Shrugged away and cleared all the way down. Back comes Athens. Snapshot here goes into the glove of Chris Kerr, and he'll hang on. Johnson let that one fly. Kerr will hang on to that. Shots early in the game, 5-2 in favor of Athens. Mentioned Athens gives up quite a bit of shots. They also put a lot on net as well. Off this draw, Willette's able to pull it free. Flipped high through the air there by Zinchenko and down, hoping Bormanis is going to win this race. He is not. He's going to go all the way down for an icing call. Athens really likes playing at home. Take a look at the losses that they've had at home. They've only had 4 of them, and they've all come in the calendar year of 2026. They didn't lose until January 31st at home against Petey. Since then, they've had 3 more in that time span, but they really like playing on home ice here, does Athens. As here comes Indiana back down the other way. Bormanis couldn't get that pass through. Pass out in front. There's Willette. Couldn't pull the trigger. Finally was able to get the chance to backhand it on net, but there are too many bodies in front for it to get through. Zinchenko's long shot sails wide of the goal. They battle for it in the corner. Pulled out of there by Gus Ford. And Athens will start making their way out to the neutral zone. Comes back to Neely. He'll move it along. Ford over the line. Hits snapshot. Good stick there from Anderson. Able to stop that shot right in the last moments. And Zinchenko back over the Athens line. He'll chip it in deep. Nolan Dawson, nearly losing his balance, was able to get a stick on that. Now back it's Athens rolling that one in on net. Kerr will reel it in and hold on to it, as that was Carter Shinkarik coming in over the line. Shinkarik is somebody to be very, very careful with on the ice for Athens. He could play forward, he could play D, he could go pretty much anywhere that you need him to be. And he is a very good point producing player. He's on a 4-game point streak right now, and he's got goals in 3 straight. So keep an eye out for Carter Shinkarik. Long shot from the blue line. Look out, that hit Leafers up in the head and bounces way up into the air. Then goes to the corner. They battle for it. Leafs trying to pull that one free. Ends up going to Croucher. Banked out to the blue line. Long snapshot. Didn't make it through to the net. And behind it goes. And there's Virgili. Croucher along the half wall. Has Leafs on him. Pass out towards the slot for the Leafers. Wasn't in the wheelhouse. Couldn't let it go. Now a snapshot from the blue line. Gets redirected by Virgili and wide. Dawson will backhand this one out to the neutral zone. Cunningham trying to kick that to his stick. Maea gets in the way. Now Dawson unable to clear that one out. Held in by Athens. Ross in behind his own net. Hits Panavanov. Looking up for Dawson, but Dawson was facing the wall. He was facing towards the middle of the ice. That was right on his twig. Unfortunately, Dawson was looking for a wraparound, it looked like. And this one gets thrown in on net. Kerr will grab it and hang on to it with 15-20 left to go in the first period. Well, we talked about it back in Minnesota. Something that the Sentinels are trying to get away from is giving up that early goal trying to stay away from giving up a goal 5 minutes into a frame. Right now, 15-20 left to go in the period. Want to make sure you're on your toes here, not allowing any extra opportunities to Athens. That means clearing it out first try again. There's a shot, deflected in behind Kerr, and hit the post and out the other side. That was Cal John letting that one go. His stick exploded on the way through, and it got behind Kerr and hit the post. Now the Sentinels the other way. It's Hippolyte Smith. He'll cycle it down. There's Donovan Powell. He'll come up the far wall. Powell at the blue line throwing. Toward the net, they score! Tipped in front there by Phil Tomacek. Right where he should be. Phil Tomacek opens the scoring in Athens. And congratulations to Donovan Powell, his very first FPHL point. And it looks like they might be looking at this for a high stick. The call on the ice was a good goal. Athens looks like they're going to challenge, and they will. Referees end up going to the scorer's box here to take a look at the iPad to see what we got. So, moving to the front of the net was Phil Tomacek, and that's where I talked about in the pregame show. That's exactly where you want him to be. It's exactly where you really want all your guys to be, but we know Tomacek is going to be that guy to get to the front of the net. That shot from the blue line there by Powell was a rising shot. Tomacek, who is not the biggest guy in the world, Phil Tomacek is coming in today's game at 5'9". And this was a quick review. They are going to call it no goal. So the Sentinels thinking that they opened up the scoring. They have not. They take the goal off the board. And hey, you know what? If you're the Sentinels, that's okay. That's all right. Now we're getting in the head of the goaltender Sales here, because there's been 2 shots on net in this game of the threes. Here's a chance here coming for Neely to the goal. Save made by Kerr. Cleared out of there by Cunningham. But you've got 2 shots on net on this goaltender Sales that have gotten behind him. One of them has gone in the net. The other one was about a half a foot from going into the back of the net. So very important to continue putting your foot on the gas here. Don't let up. As here's the Sentinels in the offensive zone. Panavanov, the slapper. That was a seeing eye shot, but it missed the net. Anderson in behind is Zinchenko. He'll cycle it along the wall. It took a bad bounce there off the corner boards, but ends up right back into Sentinels' hands. Cunningham gets sent to the ice. Out come the Rock Lobsters. This one gets redirected in. Kerr will set it off to the side. Panavanov will pull up and take a look. Up to the middle for Anderson. He was well covered, and Croucher will start back for the Rock Lobsters, but offside. There's Athens. Well, exciting start to the game. Sentinels get one behind the goaltender, but it's a high stick. We stay 0-0, and we'll be back right after this. You're watching the Indiana Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network. back to Athens. It's a 0-0 score. Shots, though, reading now 8-3 in favor of the Rock Lobsters. Like I said, it's more of the same here for the Sentinels. Maybe clean it up a bit in your defensive end. Had a couple of opportunities to clear the puck out of their own zone. Were unable to do so. You're able to get that out the first try, not give up any more chances than you need to against Athens. They're going to get them. They're good enough to be able to get their own chances. Don't help them out by coughing the puck up at your own blue line. But other than that, more of the same for the Sentinels here. As here comes Bormanis trying to get this one in deep. Rock Lobsters will send it around the wall. There's Zinchenko, the slap shot that misses the net. Wraps around the glass, will come all the way back into Sentinel territory, where Colarusso is back to control. Finds his partner there in Panavano. Exit pass there from Zinchenko, redirected by Anderson and down. Oh, maybe not, pardon me. Looked to me like Anderson might have gotten a tip on that. He did not, but we are going to get an icing call against the Sentinels. But yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, as far as the neutral zone and the offensive zone is considered, this is a very good start for this Sentinels group. Draw to the left of Kerr. Face-off one there by the Rock Lobsters. Nice move there by Paralat. Backhand shot blocked by Panavano. Goes right back to Paralat in the corner. He'll look to the middle of the ice. Escapes out to the blue line. Walking in and firing one from the blue is Joe Mack. And Kerr able to reach up with the glove and grab that one down and hold on to it. Joe Mack, another very tough customer. 22 goals, 31 assists, 53 points. For this Rock Lobster squad, Mack has points in 8 of his last 10 games here in Athens. Here's a shot coming from Mack right in the circles. That's a flex and goes out to the neutral zone. Panavano trying to settle this one down. He'll start working back the other way. Ivan Panavano throwing it towards the net. It misses the goal and ends up wrapping around and out to the neutral zone. Calajan will leave it off. And behind the net, Martuccio Pereira. Unable to get much further than in behind the net. Powell's able to one-hand that out to the neutral zone. Paid the price for it. Ended up taking a good look there, but he got the job done. Now he clogs up the neutral zone. Ends up coming back to Paralat. He'll hang on to it, pass out, run, they score! Perfect pass out in front from him behind the net there by Dustin Paralat. And he found Joe Mack sitting right in the slot. Mack getting a stick on that, able to redirect it up over the glove of Chris Kerr. And Athens has opened up the scoring. It is 1-0. Get you all the info on the goal when it becomes available. Joe Mack getting goal number 23 on the season. There's a big collision, goodness gracious, between Dawson and Powell. They both hit the deck. Those are two pretty big boys who ran into one another. Dawson, goodness gracious, he's 6'5", 215. And Lowell is 6'1", 210. So here comes Ford on the backhand. He deflects that off of Romeo Terrain and over the goal. 11:29 left to go here in period number 1. Athens leading at 1-0 thanks to the 22nd of the season from Mack. That goal by Mack was assisted by Paralat and Caljan at the 7:58 mark of period number 1. Important couple minutes here for the Sentinels, because you don't want to also go into a shell now. That's not the answer here. You're doing well. Athens is going to score goals. We know that. They're third in the league in goals for. They got 256, now 257 goals coming into today's game. Here's a shot from Panovanov. Knocked down in the slot there from Peavy. He's unable to corral that. Rolls off the end of his stick. Long dump in. Kerr is able to get a blocker on that to knock it wide. Now inside the offensive zone, here's pass for Anderson. Redirected on net. That's a real good save there in tight by Sales. That one hit his own guy on the way through. Sales is able to make the pad save. So good shift here from the Sentinels after giving up a goal. Willett over the line. Protecting the puck, trying to push this one back. Finds Anderson shooting one towards the net, misses wide. Terrain at the blue line will walk the line to the middle of the ice. Shot, save made by Sales. Once again, a redirect. I would say about 20 feet out in front of the net. Sales able to get that pad to the ground just in time for that squeaked underneath him. Romeo Terrain doing the right thing, walking to the middle of the ice. That might have hit Dalton Anderson on the way through. He was in the area. That's the key right here for the Sentinels. More players to the net. More confusion toward the net. Doesn't have to be right on top of the goaltender. I mean, right where Anderson was there. That's where Colarusso scored his goal just about in Minnesota. As long as you're getting a puck on, or a stick on the puck on its way to the net, you're making the goaltender's life a heck of a lot harder. Back comes Athens dumping it in, played along there by Kerr, who gets taken out and behind. Falling down was Malik Johnson, and Kerr was playing the puck. We play on, no penalty. See if the Sentinels want to keep an eye on that. It's their goaltender. No, we never want to see your goaltender get hit. Colarusso will spin this one up ahead for Powell. He finds Cunningham into the line. Corey Cunningham to the backhand, trying to let that one go, unable to get a lot underneath it. Ends up rolling in on net. We'll get a whistle. Stopping play. 9:17 left to play in the first. Athens breaks open the scoring 1-0. You're watching the Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Scott and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
Back to Athens. It's 1-0 in favor of the Rock Lobsters, thanks to a goal by Joe Mack, his 23rd of the year. Perfect pass from Destin Perlat from below the goal line. He's able to find Mack all alone in front. He really didn't get a lot on it. He kind of took his iron out, his 3-iron out, and just hacked at it. They ended up going over Kerr, and into the back of the net. The Sentinels have had a real nice response here in the last couple of minutes since that goal. They've got pressure now in the offensive zone. It's Lease coming up the wall. He'll cycle it down. There's Tomacek. He'll throw it towards the net. Cunningham there tied up. Ends up coming out the other side. Sentinels in practice today in morning skate were working a lot below the goal line, doing a little bit of what Athens had just scored on, trying to start from in behind and pass it out front. This one rolls off the end of the stick of Shinkarik. And Tomacek will start moving out. Cunningham back to Tomacek. Cross ice pass, was hoping to find Ross driving down the middle of the ice. It was behind him though. And Panovanov steps up on his man, takes him down. There's going to be a penalty. coming up against the Sentinels. Panovanov is going to take a seat. So for the first time today, we will see the Powerade penalty kill come to life. Ivan Panovanov going to take a seat for the next 2 minutes for tripping. Panovanov, as you can see, trying to step up and get a hip check in on his man. That was Eric Neely coming in. Neely cut to the middle, gets taken down. Panovanov will head to the box. So the Powerade penalty kill, which is 79.3% on the year, going up against this Athens power play, which, as I mentioned, third in the Continental Division at 21.7% overall. However, this is a team that you might want to take some chances on as far as shorthanded opportunities go. They've given up 10 shorthanded goals this season. So don't go out of your way for an opportunity, but if you see the chance, you might want to take it here. Lobsters will come out to the blue line. Walking here is Gus Ford. He'll drop it off Shinkarik down low. Back up top for Ford. The slap shot. He had a one-timer there that didn't miss by much. Bormanis unable to get it out the first time. Shinkarik leaving it off. Virgili, good read there from Terrain. Oh, Virgili trying to find his man Mac back door, but Terrain, a perfect read, able to get a stick on that, send it out to the neutral zone, get his team a line change. Bouncing puck stood up there by Peavy. Nice job getting in the way there of Leafers. And the Rock Lobsters will have to retreat back to their own end. Sent up now for Virgili. As cross-ice pass, Dawson gets in the lane there. There's about a half a minute, 35 seconds now remaining on this penalty to Panovanov. Another good stick there. This time Hippolyte Smith able to knock that one out to the neutral zone. Brought right back in by Leafers. He pulls up, drops it out to the blue line, walking down. Croucher shooting, big save. Kerr able to come out and challenge and get a blocker on that. Croucher had all day to walk in, and Kerr knocked that one aside. Big battle in the corner here as Hippolyte Smith's helmet now comes off. Cleared all the way down by Peavy. And that will do it for the penalty. The Powerade penalty kill starts out perfect today. Both teams now back at full strength as they battle just in the corner here. Panovanov out of the box with Willette and Colarusso and Romeo Terrain. Panovanov, one of the D, has to get off and change. We've got 3 D out there and 2 forwards. Here's Panovanov. He hits the red line. He'll wrap it in. Terrain ends up jumping off the ice. Now so does Panovanov. Or Panovanov was going to at least, but he saw the rush coming back the other way. He's got it now in behind his own net. Colarusso finding Ross. There's still 3 defensemen out there for the Sentinels, as Ross jumped over for Romeo Terrain. Here's Zinchenko looking toward the middle of the ice there for Ross, who's cutting right down the middle. There's a couple times today that Zach Ross has jumped up into the play offensively. I like that mindset from the Sentinels. D, just got to be careful. Make sure there's somebody back covering for you at all times. Willette gets dumped in the corner. Pinned up along the wall. Malik Johnson trying to pull it free. Peavy pokes it free for Ross. And now Powell out to the neutral zone. He's got Tomacek ahead, unable to get the puck to him, but Powell able to dip the shoulder down, come in, shoot one. Oh, what a play there by Powell. Dipped the shoulder down and got right to the net and sails with a brilliant stop there with his left pad. There you see what Everett Thompson was talking about with Donovan Powell. He's not afraid to go to those hard areas, get right to the goal. Romeo Terrain behind his own net. Start moving ahead. Dawson overskated the puck and then took a huge hit right at center ice. He got hit there by Lowell. Second time those two guys collide. This one at least wasn't on accident. Here's Lowell off the post. Bring it off the corner of the post where it meets the crossbar. Now Terrain taking it away, finding Dawson. He'll clear this one out to the neutral zone. Bartuccio Pereira in behind his own net. We'll look at his options as they start the breakout. Right up through the middle. That one ends up missing his man, and Neely goes all the way down. And we'll end up getting an icing with 4:08. We'll also get another timeout. We'll step away for a little bit, come back with the remaining 4:08 of the first period. 1-0 Athens. You're watching the Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network. Rock Lobsters. Live here from Georgia. Andy Petzinger, happy to bring you along on the broadcast. At a beautiful setup here, a beautiful facility, and a perfect spot to watch a hockey game. Where you see this camera angle, that's pretty much the view that I have here. Obviously, not as zoomed in, but this is a perfect view from the corner just to Chris Kerr's right for a hockey game. It's also the same arena that UGA, their ACHA team, plays in, so it gets a lot of hockey here, this beautiful Aikens Ford Arena. There's a backhand pass out in front, bouncing over the stick of Esposito and out to the neutral zone. Pulling up is Neely, trying to move it along, but whiffed on the pass up ahead. Colarusso might have a break. Got Bormanis with him. Colarusso to Bormanis, caught him in between. Unfortunately, couldn't get anything on that shot as it was right in his feet. Now Cunningham. That deflected off a stick and in behind. Cunningham after it. Will walk it up the wall. Look at his options, dropping it off to Panavanov. His shot toward the net, redirected by Bormanis in front and wide. Colarusso in the corner. And it's stripped off of his stick and picked up by Bartuccio Pereira. Outlet up ahead, gathered in by Lowell. He'll hit the red line and dump it in. Panavanov from in behind his own net. It's pressured here by Croucher, trying to move it along. Leafers taking it away, looking in front. Had a man driving to the goal, and Virgili, with the pass deflected, taken by Dawson. He'll chip and chase after it. Chinkarik all over him. He's able to knock that puck off his stick, turned right back again. Croucher. Panavanov will take it away from him. Zinchenko, the outlet pass. And enough steam on it to get through Leafers and out to Dawson, who takes his third big hit of the afternoon. Colatarchi steps into Nolan Dawson. Nearing the 2-minute mark of the first period. So I mentioned that the Sentinels giving up early goals. They've also have given up a lot of late goals in periods this season. That's certainly something that they don't want to do to this Athens group. This has been a very good period for the Sentinels, even though they're down by 1. You want to try to keep it that way or tie it up before the period comes to a close. Hippolyte-Smith has some space through the neutral zone. He'll chip this one cross ice. There to grab it, Greco. He'll send it around the wall. Now picked up here by Mack over the line. Pulling up, comes back to Greco, getting to the middle of the ice. Couldn't pull the trigger on the backhander. Pass for Mack was at his feet. Goes to the corner. Paljean. Bothered there by Ross. Pass out towards the front. Kerr, what a save! They cleared out of there at the very last moment by Donovan Powell. Kerr able to reach out with the glove, made the save. It bounced right up into the air, and Donovan Powell, in mid-season baseball mode, able to whack that one out of midair and out of play, which is actually going to end up being a penalty, I believe, on the Sentinels. He hacked it out of midair, and it went directly out of play, unless they said it might have hit something on the way out. Oh, taking a second to look at it, might have hit the crossbar as he cleared that out. So that might save the Sentinels here a penalty. But what a save there from Chris Kerr, fully outstretched with that left arm that popped right into the air and cleared out by Donovan Powell. Now there's a discussion at the Indiana bench with Everett Thompson. Well, you know what? It looks like they are going to give a penalty to the Sentinels here. So I believe it's going to be a delay of game call. Although it's Cole Willett who's going to the box. Powell was the one who knocked it out. They might have gotten the penalties mixed up a bit, but in any case, Sentinels are going back to the Powerade penalty kill. Up ahead off the faceoff win by Elise, and Chenko chasing after it. Athens working out of their own end. Neely stopped up there by Terrain just inside the zone. Zinchenko trying to kick it free. Here's Gus Ford. Walk in the middle of the ice. Zinchenko all over him. Ford gives that one up to Lease. 2-on-2. They come back the other direction. Jonas Lease leading the rush. He'll snap one toward the goal right into the glove of the goaltender Sales. He wanted to play that puck. Didn't get the opportunity. And there's going to be an offensive zone draw now for the Sentinels here with 46.8 to go on the clock. Face-off going to the right-hand side of Matt Sales. Off the draw, controlled. Maye from in behind his own net will start the breakout. Move it along the wall. Croucher dropping it back to Maye at the blue line. 2 men in front for the Rock Lobsters. Now just one. Croucher's got some space to walk in. Rips one. Blocked on the way through. Panovanov getting in the lane. Cleared out to the point. Held in there by Maye. Lowell below the goal line. Will walk it up. Leave it to the blue line. Maye there. Walks, watch. He'll switch with Croucher now. Leave it from in the middle of the ice. Back to Croucher up top. The shot blocked on the way through. Redirected wide by Liefers. Back to the point. Croucher. 3 on the clock. Fires. Kick save by Kerr. And the period will come to a close. Really good work by the Sentinels on that penalty kill. Keeping it to the outside. What Athens was trying to do there was working around the horn a little bit. Working on the outside. Trying to get it up top. With 2 guys in front. Get a redirect. But Sentinels clogging up the middle of the ice. Not giving any lanes there. As the first period comes to a close. The Rock Lobsters lead at 1-0 through 20 minutes of play. There you see Phil Tomacek scoring early in the hockey game. It ended up getting waved off because of a high stick. And Athens would respond at the 12:02 mark. A goal from Joe Mack, assisted by Justin Paralat and John Caljon. At the 12:02 mark of period number 1. We'll step aside for intermission. Come back in just a couple minutes with a look around the league and a bit of a recap of that first period right after this. You're watching the Indiana Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Josh's entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
We welcome you back inside the Athens Ford Arena. Andy Petzinger here with your intermission report. A quick recap of that first period. It was a very good period for the Sentinels in the grand scheme of things. They did exactly what they wanted to do in that period. They, for the most part, were able to keep Athens out of the Sentinel zone. There were a couple of shifts where they were hemmed in a little bit inside their own end, but were able to get the puck out. Got some big saves from Chris Kerr through the neutral zone. They were able to clog that up a little bit, create some turnovers, frustrate Athens. And in the offensive zone, they've had a lot of really good shifts that they've been able to put together, and they actually got on the board first. A really good shift from Powell and I believe Cunningham and Phil Tomacek about nearly halfway through the first period, where Donovan Powell's able to rag the puck up the wall, get it to the blue line. Saw that Tomacek was left all alone in front of the net. And Tomacek got a redirect past the goaltender, Matt Sales, who was the third string goaltender for Athens. Unfortunately, though, for the Sentinels, it was a high stick, and it was called back after the referees took a very short look at it. That ended up coming back. So Athens would get on the board first, thanks to the 23rd goal of the year by Joe Mack. He now has points at 9 in his last 11 games. 6 goals, 7 assists, and 13 points. With the assist coming from Dustin Paralat, who had the puck below the goal line, was able to lay a soft pass out to the middle of the ice. And like I mentioned before, it was almost a wedge shot from Mack. was able to chop that one over the shoulder of Kerr and into the back of the net to make it 1-0, and that is where we stay through the period. Shots in that period, final shots in that period, I should say, reading 13-9 in favor of Athens. Athens 0 for 1 on the power play. They will have, as you can see on your screen there, 37 seconds of power play time left over to start out the second period. Let's take a quick dive and look at what's going on around the league. A couple of very big games today. Port Huron and Binghamton in New York. Port Huron has a 1-0 lead in that game. As we know here, 1-0 Athens at the first intermission. Danbury and Watertown. Danbury still alive in the playoff race, needs as many wins as possible. So Watertown needs to certainly watch out here. Could be a very high-scoring affair for Danbury. Their lives are on the line. Biggest game of the weekend by far is the PD Ice Cats and the Twin City Thunderbirds. That is 0-0 early on in that hockey game. PD is in 4th place in the Continental Division with 75 points, and Twin City is in 5th, just behind them with 69 points. So, couple of wins here for PD. They're putting themselves in a good spot. Twin City needs all the points that they can get. So a very important game out in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, between Twin City Thunderbirds and PD Ice Cats. That's 0-0 very early on in that hockey game. And then we've got 3 games that have not yet started. Columbus and Monroe, which may very well be a first-round matchup, unless Monroe catches up to Athens. And these two teams have certainly thrown some punches, Columbus and Monroe, over the past week and a half with each other. Blue Ridge and Biloxi, and Baton Rouge and Topeka. All puck drops there at 8:05 p.m. Central Time. All right, we'll step aside for the remainder of the intermission and be back with the second period right after this. You are watching Indiana Sentinels hockey on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
All right, welcome back. We're here in Athens. Andy Petzinger, happy to bring you along on the broadcast. It's 1-0 Rock Lobsters through 20 minutes of play, and as I mentioned, very good first period for the Sentinels. Typically a good visiting period is when you leave the period down tied or up. But right now, with the way that this Rock Lobsters team is put together, I mean, this is a team who's got a minimum. I tried counting in the intermission break. This is a team who's got a minimum of 10 guys with ECHL experience on their roster. So, I mean, this is a very high-quality group who is certainly trying to jump the ranks in professional hockey. And, you know, if they keep going the rate that they are, they're definitely going to do that. The Sentinels being down by 1, playing as well as they did in that first period. Very impressive period indeed. One of their best in the last little while. Second period of Sentinels hockey brought to you by Coca-Cola of Columbus. Right off the draw, we saw an offside call on Athens. Only got 20 seconds left of power play time to try to get something done behind the net. It's Neely. He'll come up the wall for Virgili. Gus Ford up at the blue line. And then knocked away there by Tomacek. And he'll start 2-on-2 back the other way. Phil Tomacek with Hippolyte Smith. Tomacek around Ford. Oh, good stick there from Ford at the very last minute. Tomacek realized he had a forward back play indeed. Tried to do a bit of a dipsy-do on him. But Ford wasn't having any of it. And Ford able to get a stick on it just at the very last moment. Both teams now back at full strength. Sentinels 2 for 2 on the PK. Powerade penalty kill. Clear it all the way down. Dawson chasing after it. Takes a hit but moves it along for Cunningham. That was Calajan with the body check on Dawson. Cleared out of there by Athens and chased after by Richie Colarusso. Back in his own end. Colarusso picking up a big goal. This one gets called for an icing. Richie with a big goal back in Minnesota against Topeka, the Saturday game that tied things up. Great movement on the power play from the Sentinels. A shot from Zinchenko from the blue line. Colarusso cut through the middle of the ice, got a redirect right through the goaltender's legs to tie it up at 2. That's when you know Richie's feeling pretty good, is when he's jumping up at the play offensively. He does very well on the back end, as there's a long snapshot from Kolatarsi. Glove down by Kerr. Yeah, Richie Colarusso, you know he's feeling pretty good when he's able to jump at the play offensively as well as take care of business on the back end. Draw to the left-hand side of Chris Kerr. Draw control by the Sentinels. Bormanis with it. Sends it up the wall for Zinchenko. A blind backhand pass in the middle of the ice. Virgili easily able to intercept that one. He'll dump it in. Croucher had Terrain all over. Terrain had that one stuck in his skate. Went ring around the rosy a couple times. Shot from the blue line by Kolatarsi. That stopped by Curry. Makes another save now in tight. Kyle Powell from the blue line set that one in on goal. Curry able to make the save and reel in the rebound. Unfortunate for Romeo Terrain. He had that puck in his feet at the in the corner there. Was unable to pull it out from in between his feet. Clear that puck out. As soon as he got it onto his stick, he had pressure and couldn't get it past the blue line. Led to that second opportunity for Athens. And as we mentioned earlier, you don't want to give Athens any more chances than they're already going to create themselves. Here's Hippolyte Smith looking to the front. Misses. Powell goes to a left. Powell on the opposite side. That pass was about knee high. Couldn't settle it down. Good setup there from Hippolyte Smith. That was kind of the play that the Sentinels were trying to work this afternoon at morning skate. There's a big check from Powell. They were trying to get a guy below the goal line and move it out to the middle of the ice, get bodies to the net. Peavy chasing after it in behind. It's crushed off the puck there by Maye. And moved up the wall. Up comes Johnson to the net. Poke check there by Kerr. Johnson trying to dip the shoulder and pull it on, but Powell get to the goal. But Kerr with an active stick poked that one away. Here's a chance for Zinchenko. Or excuse me, it's Ross trying to break free. Ross forces it just wide. Good back check there by Greco, and he's going to get a penalty for it. Greco, a hooking call. So the third time in today's game that we've seen Zach Ross jump into the play. Offensively, this time he gets a breakaway, and his hustle forces Greco to take a hooking call. And we go to the Haas Insurance power play for the first time tonight. $17:08 left to play in the second period. Sentinels on the Haas Insurance power play this year at 12.7%, but coming off a game where both the goals scored in regulation were on the power play. Esposito blows a tire, and it's cleared out of there by Lowell and down. Athens on the penalty kill off 82.6% of theirs. That is third best in the Continental Division. Espo will chip and chase after it. Esposito had the first power play goal. Colarusso the second one in last game. Powell will end up going out to the blue line. Panavon up to Powell. The one-timer kicked out of there by Sales. Here's Panavanov to Tomacek up high. Zinchenko will cycle it down low. Esposito there to grab it in the corner. He's met there by Shinkarik. Esposito now pinned up along the wall, pulled out of there. Zinchenko going back to Esposito. He'll move it in behind to Powell, who swelts it out to the blue line. Back to Powell in the corner. He'll let it go out to the opposite side. Zinchenko up top. Tomacek there. Takes a hit. Was on his backhand trying to make that play. And it's pulled right back by the Rock Lobsters. Here they come. A backdoor feed. Didn't connect it. To mention the Rock Lobsters, they give up shorthanded goals. They also score them as well. They've got 10 shorthanded goals for, as well as 10 shorties against. So we got to be careful here against the Rock Lobsters as Tomacek sends this one well out of play. Good stick there by Colatarchi to knock that one up into the netting with 15:43 to go on the clock. 35 left to play on the penalty kill. Or the power play, pardon me. 35 left to go on the Haas Insurance power play. It's a new unit now out there for the Sentinels. It's Hippolyte, Smith, Dawson, and Cunningham with Bormanis and Willette on the back end. This one gets forced out by Mack past Bormanis. Willette with pressure all over him, tries to relieve that to the corner. Now Willette with some space will leave it off to Hippolyte Smith. He'll chip it around and check and get it into the zone. Take it right back, though, by Athens. He'll clear it up the wall and all the way down. That will just about do it for the Sentinels power play as both teams now back at full strength. Got to be careful. Bormanis still a defenseman here. He's caught up in the play. Here comes Leapers on a break. Leapers to the backhand. Hooked up by Willette. We might get a penalty shot. There's a delayed penalty calling. And it is going to be a penalty shot for the second straight game, second of 3 games. We're going to see a penalty shot in the Sentinels game. This one going to go against Indiana. Hang on, we got the snow crew coming out here. Yeah, they're telling them to get off the ice. This is a penalty shot. So Leapers on a penalty shot here against Chris Kerr. Leapers on the season only has 1 goal. Hasn't scored a goal in his last 17 games played. He joined Athens back on February the 1st, and that's the game that he scored in for the Rock Lobsters. He's also got some ECHL experience with Wheeling. Here comes Leapers down the gut, trying to go 5-hole, and Kerr knocks it away on the penalty shot. Big stop there from Chris Kerr, and the Sentinels stay out of the penalty box. So we stay 1-0 here in the second period, and now we will go to a commercial break. We'll be back right after this at the Athens Ford Arena on Sentinels Hockey Network.
our team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
Chris Kerr was perfect in the shootout. Last game against Topeka, gets a chance here on a penalty shot and shuts the door on Eli Leifers. As I mentioned, not the most prolific goal scorer that's on this Athens group. So, I mean, if it was anybody you wanted to pick, it was going to be Leifers. But a really big stop there from Kerr nonetheless. Here walking to the middle of the ice is Athens. A shot. Went through Kerr and hit the goal post. That shot from Eric Neely hit the iron. Cleared out to the neutral zone. Ford will leave it off for Neely. He moves it to the middle of the ice. Taken away by Indiana. They'll start the transition up ahead for Powell over the line. Powell will curl, wait for the late man to come through. There's a shot. It's stopped in front by Sales. He'll hang on to it with 14-18 left to play in the first period. There's Dominic Powell again, leading the rush, taking a look up top and faking that pass to the blue line. Little deception there and spinning one on net. He knew he had a body going to the goal, threw it to the net. And Dominic Powell with a very good opening game in his professional career. He stays out there on a line with Hipwood Smith and Phil Tomacek. Romeo Terrain and Richie Colarusso on D. They've got Joe Mack breathing right down their neck. He'll leave it off for Caljean. Caljean hit below the goal line and wraps around the wall. Out to the point it goes. D to D. Long snapshot there from Shinkarik. Gloved down by Kerr, and he'll hang on. Chris Kerr on top of the ball here early. Seen 22 shots on net compared to the 11 for Indiana. And the best thing about Kerr so far today, in my opinion, is the rebound control. He's had a little bit of luck, for sure. He's had two squeak through him and go off the irons. Here Shinkarik coming right down the gut. Try to throw it out front. Lays loose in the slot. They heck on it. Pulled out of there by Bormanis. Little more puck luck there for Kerr, but the Sentinels were able to escape. Bormanis curling in the corner. Looks at his options. Down low Zinchenko. Hits Ross at the circles. Ross in front for Anderson, hoping for a redirect. Ended up going off the blocker and wide. Will let at the point. Shot tipped by Anderson just wide of the net. Ando below the goal line now, leaving it to Zinchenko. Zinchenko with Ross walking in. That shot from in front. Bormanis couldn't get much on it as Poltarchi tied him up well, and it rolls in on goal, covered by Sales. Very good shift there from the Sentinels in the offensive zone. As Chris Kerr now heading off the ice, he's slumping down a little bit. May have injured himself on that last. Yeah, it looks like he's coming off the ice. So Chris Kerr is going to leave the ice at least for a little bit. There was a scramble out in front, and he tried to reach back, and he was kind of slumped over with that right shoulder. Now we get to see Cooper Olsen in net. Olsen over 0-3 on the season. He's got a 403 goals against and an 894 save percentage. He has been brilliant. And a lot of his opportunities as he gets one. Real tough spot there. It is Olsen, Croucher on a mini breakaway out in front. Able to bat that one home. His 19th of the season in Athens has made it 2-0. Pass out in front. Croucher getting behind Panavana. Great job to kick it to his stick. Backhands it in. And it's 2-0. I was just beginning to say that Olsen has been brilliant at times in his FBHL career. Has been tossed in a couple difficult spots, one of them being against Topeka. His very first FPHL game was kind of left out to dry. But has put up some pretty good performances against Binghamton and his last one against the Scarecrows in his home state of Minnesota. Romeo Terrain trying to clear this one out, hit his own man, ends up going out to the blue line, long snapshot, sails wide of the net, bounces out the other side. It's hacked there by Powell, but not out. Powell with it, gets caught up in Hippolyte Smith. Romeo Terrain now will hit the red line and throw this one on goal. Sales blockers it away. Paralat will move it up the wall for Gus Ford. Ford curling. Colarusso swipes it away from him. Cleared out to the blue line. Paralat is there. He spins away from a check. Anderson was all over him. Same with Zinchenko, but Paralat did a nice job to get it down low. Paralat going for a line change. Didn't realize the puck was coming back to him. And the Rock Lobsters will have to move it out from their own zone. Paralat's still out on the ice. We'll leave it for Ford. Paralat now going to the goal. Shoots one, and Olsen gets the white pad on it. Back for Ford. He'll walk to the middle of the ice. Ford, the turnaround shot, deflects off his stick and ends up going out of play with 11:40 left to play here in period number 2. Athens leading it 2-0. Keep an eye out for Chris Kerr to see if he ends up coming back to this hockey game. Sentinels only bringing 2 goaltenders on this trip. John Werber still up in the SPHL on his call-up. Pass out in front, deflecting. Peljan in front, wide open net, but cleared out of there by the Sentinels. Here's Lease, 2-on-2 back the other way. Jonas Lease holding on to it, trying to pull up along the half wall. Cleared up the far side and out to the neutral zone. Picked up here by Kaljan. He'll throw it in deep. Maye chasing after it. Panovanov gets there first. Dawson hits Jonas Lease. He hits the red line and he'll dump it in. Hard wraparound finds Dawson on the far wall. Down low for Cunningham. That rolling puck, he's trying to hit Hippolyte Smith just off the bench, but couldn't get any wood on it. Picked up again by Johnson, and he'll clear. Cole Willett feeling the pressure there from Leafers, unable to get it out on the first try. There's a shot in tight from Croucher. That gets kicked aside. They battle for it along the far wall. Hippolyte Smith trying to pull it free. Athens keeps it alive. Rolled up the wall to Powell. He comes D to D. Greco, his wrist shot, a headhunter, ends up going over the net. Powell put it right back down low. Virgili looking, back up top. The shot from Greco deflects off Panovanov and goes wide of the net. Cunningham braces for a hit. Hippolyte Smith takes over. He'll find Powell in the neutral zone, who comes 1-on-4 into the zone. Powell hit there by Greco in behind the net. They now battle. Fans are enjoying the battle in behind the net. Now it goes out to center ice for Leafers. Over the line. Gets stepped up by Romeo Terrain. He's got Powell here near side. Hits him there. Powell with some space will walk and wire one into the glove of the goaltender. Sails, and Powell then gets sent to the deck. Sentinels coming over to the aid of their newest player. I got a feeling that Powell not too upset about it. He likes getting into the rough stuff. 2-0 here in Athens. We'll be back right after this on the Sentinels Hockey Network. talked about how this is a very different Sentinels team than the Rock Lobsters have seen before. Take a look at the turnover that we've seen from the Sentinels over the last little while. Only 3 players of the 25 on the roster remain from the first meeting on October 17th and 18th. Vozichenko had an assist in 1 game. Lees had an assist in 2 games. Romeo, no points, but 4 PIMs, 4 penalty minutes in those 2 games. So the Sentinels, a brand new team for sure, and Athens is finding that out. They found that out pretty quickly, to be quite honest with you, in that first period. They've had a little bit of an extra pep in their step here in the second. Here's a lead up ahead, walking in and wiring one was Neely, but he missed the goal, and it goes up and into the netting, out of play. Neely getting a little bit of space there, walking in and wired one up over the glove of Olsen. Might have caught a crossbar and ended up going well out of play. Face off to the left of goaltender Cooper Olsen, who, if you are just joining in, Chris Kerr injured just a few moments ago. Looked like he was holding on to that right shoulder, his stick hand shoulder. He's kind of slumping down a little bit after a scramble in front where he was fully sprawled out. Don't want to speculate, but if it's got anything to do with the shoulders or any joints, those are usually not the greatest of news. So we'll wait to hear a little bit more about what's going on with Chris. Here's Gus Ford looking up ahead. Try to find Jesse Lowell. Ended up missing him and goes all the way down for an icing call with 9:03 left to go in the second period. Sentinels now with an opportunity to get something set up inside the offensive zone. Have not had many chances here in the second period. Maybe in one shift. There's that shift with Zinchenko, Cunningham, and Anderson, where they were able to pin Athens in their own end and create some chances. But after that, there really has not been all that much from the Sentinels offensively here in this second period. Nolan Dawson now in the neutral zone. He'll flip this one high up into the air. Back to get it is Maye. Meets 2 different Sentinels players. Rip room, they score! Corey Cunningham! On the turnover, there were 3 white sweaters below the goal line. That typically is terrible news, but the Sentinels on the turnover, goes to Cunningham. Dawson there to poke it free. Cunningham goes out the opposite side, wraps it around in the near post. And Indiana on the board. It's 2-1. So Corey Cunningham picking up goal number 12 on the season, his 4th with Indiana. And he's cut the lead in half as Colarusso gets thrown into the boards. Numbers showing no arms are out. Now flipped out of there by Terrain, looking up. Bormanis after it. And behind the net, nearly overskated the puck. They battle for it there. Pops free to the near side, and Caljan will hit Johnson out in the neutral zone. He chips it past Hippolyte Smith. Finding it there, Perlat in front. They score! Devin Maye able to find that puck on the back door and power it past Cooper Olsen, who was fully outstretched. And Maye with goal number 4, able to outrace Richie Colarusso, who tried to lift his stick there at the last second. And with 8:02 left to go in the period, Maye gets goal number 4 on the year. Came into today without a goal in his last 14 games played. Gets a perfect pass right there onto the tape. That's a goal just 41 seconds after the Sentinels got on the board. There's another chance here for Athens. Pass out towards the front. Rolls in towards the net. Ends up going over the goal line, but Cooper Olsen was bumped into on his way through. Croucher driving to the net, and immediately the referee's waving this off, saying no goal. That was an immediate and emphatic no-goal call there. As you see, going right to the net, both Croucher and Leifers right on top of Cooper Olsen, knocking it back into his own goal. Puck rolls into the back of the net. So a relatively easy call there for the officiating staff, who we have not yet spoken about today. My apologies. Your officials today on referee, wearing the bands, Chris Hoy and Bob Langdon, with Michael Maxon and Venance Lorenz, the linesman. Dumped in by the Rock Lobsters. Croucher from in behind his own net will send it out the opposite side, Leifers. Croucher back in behind again, will come up the near wall. Throw it out to the point, Greco, his shot. Goes in behind the net, pass out towards the front. Lisa's there to take it away. Neal cleared out to the neutral zone. Dawson galloping after this one, trying to win the race. Good job by Greco to get there first, and he'll one-arm it out to the neutral zone. Here's Leifers over the line. His wrist shot goes in on goal. Cooper Olsen, real big save there on Croucher. As that puck was rolling in on net, Croucher got an extra hack at it right out front, and Olsen swatted it aside with a pad. Turnover, Hippolyte-Smith down low for Cunningham. Throws it on goal, he scores! Turnover inside Athens zone, and Rory Cunningham picks up his second goal of the night, second of the period. And we've got goals galore here in period number 2. It's 3-2 in favor of Athens. A turnover inside the Athens zone. Good forecheck from Cunningham, forcing that turnover. Finds Hippolyte-Smith. He goes to Cunningham. Great patience here from Cunningham as he throws it right between the legs. And Indiana back on the board. You know, I was going to mention the best shift of the game you're supposed to have is the one after you score a goal, or after a goal is scored, I should say, whether you scored or not. And the Sentinels give up a goal. That's not how you want to respond. Then they come back and they get one again. The shift after Athens has scored. So punches being thrown on both sides here. Once again, this is not the same group that Athens saw back in October. When the Sentinels lost by scores of 10-0 and 7-2. This is a group that, as we saw last weekend, really does not give up at all. There's a lot of fight in this group. They love living up to the moment. As here's Zinchenko in behind out front. That pass intended for Colarusso. Intercepted there by Neely. He'll get it out to the neutral zone. Comes right back to him. Rain now will backhand this one up the wall as Bormanis comes up a bit lame as he limps to the bench. Out to the blue line inside the Sentinel zone. Paralat will move it on down. Shot from Ford. That one didn't miss by much. It will wrap around the wall and come all the way back out to center ice where Paralat will control. Jinkarek up to the blue line. Terrain will move it to Powell. He'll dump it right in. Sales is there. Paralat backhands it out to Ford. He'll cross ice this pass out through the neutral zone. Valjean unable to get that puck in deep. Send it right back out. Blake Peavy playing D on this shift. Finds Hippolyte Smith. He'll chip it into the zone. Mack. Throw a cross ice pass up ahead. Malik Johnson. It's got Mack going to the net. Panovanov stayed with him. Able to get a stick on that, knock it in behind. Coming up the wall. Gets dropped down into the corner. Paralat there to grab it. Dawson is on him. Dawson loses his stick. Paralat trying to drive toward the goal. He does. Good stop there by Olsen. Poke checking that one away. Now touched by Tomacek. There's going to be a penalty here on Dawson. Going to be a holding call with 4:28 left to play in the second period. When we come back, the Sentinels back to the Powerade penalty kill. You're watching a real good one here on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated. Encore. After encore. After encore. Next thing you know, it felt just like this. Come on. Vitamin water from New York.
Sentinels heading to the Powerade penalty kill as things really opening up here in Athens. Going to be Dawson heading to the box for 2 minutes. He's going to sit for hooking. Shots reading 31-17 here with 4:28 left to play in the second period. Sentinels perfect so far on the PK, 3 for 3, but once again, I mean, you don't want to give this Athens team any more chances than they need to. It was a tough break for Dawson. He lost his stick on that play. Pass out in front. Good stop there from Olsen. In tight on Virgili. 2-on-2 come the Sentinels out to the neutral zone. Zinchenko, his Schrister, sails wide of the net. Will wrap around out to the neutral zone. Gus Ford over the line will fire one that one goes up off the glass. Held in at the point, Neely. Moving it down the wall, Virgili. Shinkarik will walk the line. Leaving it off to Ford. Up top, Shinkarik. The shot tipped. They score. Carter Shinkarik from the blue line. That shot was heading right to Cooper Olsen until it hit a stick on the way through, and I believe it's a Sentinel stick. It might be. It's either off of Jonas Lees or Bo Zinchenko out in front. Change direction. Doesn't matter. Athens picks up their third goal of the period. First on the power play. Carter Shinkarik, who I mentioned before is one of the guys you really want to keep an eye out for. Now has a 5-game point streak, 5 goals and 4 assists, 9 points. As this one gets stuck up in the side of the net. Sales trying to cover, pulled out of there by Maea, and cleared by the Rock Lobsters. Shinkarik with goal number 24 on the season. Spent 2021 and 2023 in between the ECHL and the SPHL. As it's been backhanded by Powell into the glove of Sales. He spent time with QC Storm, the Iowa Heartlanders in the ECHL, and was the 2025 FPHL Defenseman of the Year. Shinkarik puts Athens up by 2. Once again, Sentinels looking to fight back here. Draw going to the right-hand side of Matt Sales. Lease on the draw. Bested there by Croucher. Gets backhanded out to the neutral zone. Lease there to grab it. He'll throw it right back in. Bouncing in behind the net. Maia lost that one. Off the back of his own goal, and thankfully for him, was overskated there by Nolan Dawson. Croucher coming in over the line, will pull up, look for the late man, ends up going to the blue line. D-to-D they go. Snapshot by Greco gets blocked. That's Cunningham on the shot block. Now gets dumped in by Dawson right into the stomach of Sales. And he'll soak that one up with 2:46 left to play here in period number 2. Another offensive zone draw, though, coming for the Sentinels. Mentioned it before this season. I don't hate that play if you really don't have a good entry. A good entry point, or you're going off for a line change. It's not a bad play to just throw the puck on net and get a whistle and set up for an offensive zone faceoff. Athens will win another in-zone draw and will clear it out through center ice. PV chasing after it in his own zone. PV's got his dad in the crowd today. Met him at the hotel last night when we got in around midnight. Picked up by Neely. He'll send it down the wall. Panovanov to grab it in behind the net. He's got some space. Will start motoring out to the neutral zone. He'll hit Bormanis. Cross ice dump and knocked down there on the way through by Paralat. He gets some help to exit this one out to the neutral zone as we approach the final 2 minutes of period number 2. Bormanis unable to get the redirect on that. He's trying to talk with the or the linesman, pardon me. That's right in front of him. Linesman says, I don't think so. That's an icing call. Everett Thompson is also furious about it. Not going to change the linesman's mind, however. It'll come all the way back into the Sentinel zone with 2:01 to go on the clock. Face off to the right of Cooper Olsen. Draw one to Shinkarik, but it hopped over his stick and goes out to center ice. Dumped in by Athens. Olsen will set it up in behind for Panovanov. Finds a soft space in the middle for Leach, who couldn't clear it out on the first try. Ends up going to Paralat at the blue line. He'll walk in and shoot one, blocked on the way through and cleared out to the neutral zone by Indiana. Paralat trying to turn this one up to keep the D out there for Indiana. This one bounces all the way down. It's actually going to be an icing now on Athens. So Athens trying to keep some tired players out there for Indiana. Now they can't change due to their icing. Sentinels sending out a new grouping of players. Dawson, Hippolyte Smith, and Donovan Powell out there. Willette and Ross on D. Paralat hit there by Powell, who's able to wrap this one around the wall. Dawson finishes his check in the corner. Hippolyte Smith unable to get control of that puck. Kaljian gets it out to the neutral zone. Bouncing puck here settled down by Paralat. He'll pull up in the corner. Paralat looking in front. That one was at the feet of Johnson, who was heading towards the slot. Now cleared out to the neutral zone where Powell hits the blue line. He'll wrap it hard around where Dawson can pick it up in the near corner. Nolan Dawson back down low for Powell. He had Kaljian all over him and Mack. Well, now take this one and flip it high through the air and out to the neutral zone where Johnson will dump this one in. 40 seconds left to play in period number 2. Slapped up ahead. Powell gets a redirect on it. Sends it in deep. Played there by Sales. He'll leave it off for Maie, who comes up the wall and out to center ice. Bormanis unable to do what he wanted with that puck and try to get it in deep. Take it back by the Rock Lobsters. And Croucher chip this one down low. Leapers there to grab it, trying to spin away from Romeo Terrain. Terrain staying on him very nicely. It ends up bouncing out to the neutral zone, where it's corralled again by Athens. Maye looking up ahead for Croucher. That pass at his feet. Maybe one more shot here from Tomacek with 2 seconds left to go. Swiped away from him by Maye, and the period comes to a close. So a lot going on in period number 2. 5 total goals scored. Indiana getting both of them from Cunningham. Athens getting theirs from Croucher, Maye, and Shinkarik on the power play. And Athens leads it 4-2 through 2 periods. We'll step aside for the intermission and be back with the intermission report in just a little bit. 4-2 Athens here on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Scott and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
welcome you back to Athens, Georgia, for the second intermission of play between the Rock Lobsters and the Indiana Sentinels. Rock Lobsters leading it 4-2 in what was a wild second period. We saw a penalty shot in that period at the 14:54 mark, I believe. That was a penalty shot from Eli Liefers. He was hooked on a breakaway chance by Cole Willett. Was taken down and got an opportunity on the penalty shot. Liefers with only 1 goal in 18 games played, and I mentioned that his only goal came in the first game that he ever played with Athens, and was unable to beat Chris Kerr through the 5-hole. Kept it a 1-0 Athens lead. Kerr ended up getting hurt not too long after that. I did run downstairs to check in on what's going on with Chris. He will not return today with an upper body injury. We're thinking that it's definitely in the shoulder area, but we'll know a little bit more tomorrow. Coming in, his substitute was Cooper Olsen, and he got thrown into the fire. Tough way to come into the game just a few minutes after Kerr had gotten hurt. A breakaway from about the hash marks in by Luke Croucher. He was able to go forehand, backhand, and into the back of the net to make it 2-0 Athens. Sentinels would answer with a goal of their own at the 8:43 mark. Corey Cunningham on the wraparound. There were 3 guys below the goal line. Dawson able to get a stick on the puck. Knocked it over to Cunningham. He wrapped it around and beats the goaltender on the near post to make it 2-1. Athens on the next shift would answer with another goal to make it 3-1. This one coming from Devin Maye. Another little mini breakaway in Titus. He was able to redirect a pass into the back of the net by Dustin Paralat to make it 3-1. And Indiana would answer again the next shift. So 3 goals within a 2-minute and 15-second time span, just about 2-minute, 10-second time span almost. But it was Corey Cunningham on the turnover that he caused from behind the net. Puck ended up going to Noah Hippolyte-Smith, who found Cunningham. And Cunningham, with great patience along the wall, right at the circle, was able to hold on to that puck and got the goaltender thinking. Cunningham slipped it right through his legs at the 5-hole to make it 3-2. Indiana with a couple really good answers there, and that's where we would stay until the 3:53 mark of the period on the power play. Athens, long shot from Carter Shinkarik, his 24th of the year, extending his point streak to 5 games now. Shinkarik, his wrist shot from the blue line, right in the middle of the ice, deflected off of either Bozinchenko or Jonas Lees in the middle, and over the shoulder of Olsen into the back of the net to make it 4-2. Exciting third period around the corner. Before we get there, though, let's take a look at what's going on around the league. As we mentioned, a couple of really big games going right now in the FPHL. Port Huron and Binghamton tied at 1 in the second period. 4-2 Athens here. 3-2 Watertown over Danbury. Danbury needs to pick up a victory. So them losing to Watertown a little over halfway through the second period is not the greatest look of all time. In the biggest game of the evening, Twin City beating PD by a score of 1-0. That's about halfway through the second period as well. Twin City is behind PD in the standings, needs to pick up a couple of victories. Ice Cats standing in 4th place with 75 points. The Thunderbirds have 69. So a victory tonight in regulation for Twin City would only put them 2 points. 3 points behind the Ice Cats. And then out in Monroe, we're 2-2 after the second period, or going into the second period, I should say, with Columbus and the Moccasins, and what's looking more and more like it might be a first-round matchup. Biloxi down 3-0 on home ice to Blue Ridge going into period 2. And Baton Rouge in Topeka. Topeka leads that 1-0. Topeka, sure, scoreboard watching right now, thanking Watertown for any help that they can provide. All right, exciting third period coming up right after this. You're watching the Indiana Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Scott and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope, it's in our blood.
Andy Petzinger down. Welcome back to Athens. Got the Sentinels trailing by 2 goals, heading into the third period of play, and it's been a fun hockey game through the first 40 minutes. We've had a little bit of everything. Sentinels doing pretty well on the penalty kill up until that last opportunity for Athens, where Carter Shinkarik came through on the power play, but it deflected off of, I believe it was Jonas Lees. Right out in front, deflected off of Lees and into the back of the net. So a bit of a tough break there for the Sentinels, but they put forth a very good effort here in this hockey game through the first 40 minutes. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot more here in the final 20, as they know they're still in this hockey game. You know, a couple of bounces either way. Good hustle here from Bormanis to delete the icing. You know, you think about the high stick goal that was waved off by Tomacek. That cuts it down to 4-3. And then you think about maybe giving Cooper Olsen a couple of extra shots before throwing a breakaway his way. Maybe we see a couple goals off the boards there, but ifs and buts aren't going to win this hockey game. It's going to need to be 2 goals from the Indiana Sentinels to at least force extra times. Here's a turnover. Tomacek slaps that one wide. Colarusso at the blue line. Send it in behind. Tomacek is there. He's got Powell in front, looking for it. Now Tomacek, the turnaround shot, gobbled up and held there along the post by Matt Sales. He had near the blue line Powell that was waving for it. He also had Hippolyte Smith driving to the net, so a couple of options there for Tomacek, and with Hippolyte Smith driving to the net, decided to throw it on goal, maybe get a rebound, but it was gobbled up. Third period of play is brought to you by Ryan Fur Creative. Clearing attempt by the Sentinels, or excuse me, by the Rock Lobsters, pardon me. Ends up going out to the neutral zone. Colarusso will throw it right back in. Sentinels set up in their forecheck, trying to clog up the neutral zone as much as they can. This one gets redirected all the way down into Indiana zone. That's around the wall. There's Luke Croucher. Taking it away, Colarusso, he'll move it up to Cunningham, 2-on-2 through the neutral zone. Cunningham leaving it to Dawson. Had Cunningham going to the net, lost right in behind the goaltender, then they score! It was in behind the goaltender. They were hacking and whacking at it. It looked like it was underneath his pad for a moment. Ended up popping free for Jonas Lees. He puts it home. And Cunningham is a little slow to get up after the fact, but an early goal for the Sentinels has made it 4-3. Cunningham now back to his feet. My goodness. What a start to the period as you take a look at the replay. It's loose underneath the goaltender's pad. There you see Cunningham jamming at it. Same with Jonas Lees. He gets the last hack. Cunningham gets sent to the deck and then takes a couple extra punches. Nearly takes a knee by Kyle Powell. But in any case, the Sentinels just a minute and 31 seconds into the period. Jonas Lees' goal has made it 4-3. But bounces in on net. Olsen will gobble that up. Jonas Lees with goal number 6 on the season. He didn't have any goals in his last 11 games, so breaks that drought. Now inside the Sentinel zone, off the draw, comes up the wall. Ross trying to knock this one out to the neutral zone, unable to do so. Willette pinned up in behind by Johnson. He's got 2 red jerseys down there. Now hacking at it is Caljean. Goes out to Hippolyte Smith. He'll bank it off the wall and out as Malik Johnson tried to label Hippolyte Smith. But Noah saw that one coming from a mile away. Now a pass coming into the zone. There's a backhander from Caljean. Didn't get enough on it, and he towed it wide. Mack from the corner. His pass out in front, he whiffed on it, ends up sending it in behind the net. Good hit there from Tomacek, forces a turnover. Ross will now use Tomacek to flip this one high into the air, but held it at the blue line. Coming off the bench, there was Eric Neely. He's going to the net now. That pass was intended for him. He was knocked down to the ice, though. Now Johnson in the corner, leaving it for Mack. They cycle it Now Johnson gets sent to the deck there by Powell. There's a snapshot. Oh, crossbar. Oh, Paralat let one rip. Went off the underside of the crossbar and out. Now picked up here by Neely. His shot knocked aside by Olsen. Picked up by Willett. He'll clear out to the blue line. Held in for a moment there by Neely. And finally the Sentinels can clear. Sentinels need to make sure they clear the puck out on the first try here in the third period. Can't allow themselves to get hemmed into their own zone and continue giving Athens chances. They fought back hard. Do yourselves a favor and get it out the first time. There's a good intercept from Panavanov on that pass out in front by Lowell. Now Zinchenko trying to dangle in. Lost it on the way to the net, but he draws a penalty. Yes, sir. Great job, Bo Zinchenko, trying to get to the goal. Gets held up on the way through. And with 16:32 left to play in the third period, we go back to the Haas Insurance power play. Going to be a holding call here. Going against Kolatarchi. So it's 16:32 left to play in the period. The Sentinels with a chance now to tie it. But once again, you have to be careful with this Athens group. They've got 10 shorties on the year. Got to keep your foot on the gas, pardon me. There's an outlet pass up ahead for Cunningham. It was at his feet, though, and it gets turned right back again by the Rock Lobsters. Panavanov out through the neutral zone. That backhand pass. Cunningham chasing it down. Driving toward the net. Cunningham. A wraparound out in front. Goes through the crease and out the other side. Hippolyte Smith there to pick it up. They'll drop it to Panavanov. Now Bormanis. Backhand pass in front. Dawson tried to hack that one on goal. The first half was made. The second one went just wide. Now 2-on-2 come the Rock Lobsters. It's Keljon around a check, trying to get to the goals. Forced in behind there by Hippolyte Smith. He and Dawson all over him. Knock him to the ice. And now Panavanov will regain control of the puck and use Esposito, who starts out through the neutral zone. Sentinels getting a line change. Esposito for the latecomer and Powell. He'll pick it up at the blue line, wrap it around. Bormanis picks it up. Esposito lets it go up the wall to Colarusso up top. Now Esposito back to Colarusso. That pass was red. Goes out to the blue line, held it for a moment, and then swatted back down again by the Rock Lobsters. 35 seconds left to go on the penalty. Here is Esposito. He'll throw across ice for Zinchenko. Putting it up to the blue line for Colarusso. That pass was red, though, by Croucher. Not a lot of steam on it either. Croucher will send it all the way down. Time for maybe one more rush for the Sentinels. On the power play, Bo Zinchenko has Mack on him from behind. He's able to protect the puck. It ends up bouncing around to Powell. He'll chip it in. Chased after, though, by Cunningham. He pulls up in the corner, looks at his options. Hits Zinchenko. Down low for Cunningham. The redirect goes just wide of the net. Both teams back at full strength. Sentinels have 4 forwards out there and 1 D. Somebody's got to make sure they're playing defense. Cunningham in behind the net, able to escape one check. Pass out to Tomacek, didn't get through. Comes back to Cunningham. And now pushed out to the blue line. Powell keeps it in for a moment. And then it's escaped out to the neutral zone. Here they come. It's Paralat. His wrist shot catches the glass and wraps around the wall. Zinchenko will get it out to the neutral zone. Hold on to the puck as he moves it to Panavanov. Now Panavanov couldn't get around the last check. Otherwise, he might have been in. And now everything is back to normal as 2 defensemen out there, and PV and Panavanov with the 3 forwards, Bormanis, Lease, and Dawson. PV couldn't clear that from him. Behind the net, comes out to the slot. A shot from Johnson gets blocked, goes back to the blue line. Shinkarik there. His wrister nearly took out Johnson on the way through. Sent him to the deck. Look out there. Malik Johnson nearly took that one in the teeth. Almost a little friendly fire. Now Johnson, away from the poking stick of Willett, will leave it for DePerrier. He's gone. Bertuccio Perrier, excuse me, able to drag to the front of the net and skip that one just underneath the arm of Cooper Olsen and into the back of the net. The first goal of the season for Bertuccio Pereira. And Athens now leads in 5-3. So the Sentinels, after a power play opportunity that they got 0 shots on net, got set up in the offensive zone and created maybe one chance, but couldn't get much going outside of that as there's a shot towards the goal, sails wide. Lowell unable to clear. Tomacek loses an edge. Lowell trying to poke that puck free with Tomacek on the ground. Powell there to grab it. He'll wrap it around. Ross at the blue line, walking to the middle of the ice. Ends up throwing it back in behind the net. Anderson there for Tomacek. He bounces off a hit. Pass out front for Ross. Deflected away from him. And out comes Athens through the neutral zone. But stopped there by Willette just inside the zone. Now he takes it away and starts moving and flipping it deep into Athens territory where Dawson braces for a check. Picked up there, Paralat. Pull up at the Sentinel blue line. That cross-ice pass, look out. This one goes into the crowd. Well out of play with 11:57 left to play in period number 3. It's 5-3 Athens. Don't miss a second of this one. You might miss a goal. 5-3 Athens here on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
to 3 in favor of the Rock Lobsters with 11:57 left to play here in the third period. Sentinels open it up 1:31 in with Jonas Lees able to find the puck in a scrum. It was behind the goaltender. It was a shot from the corner, from the wall. And the goaltender, Sales, thought he had it in his pads. He ended up kicking it towards the goal line. And there to bat it home was Lees after a big scrum in front. That made it 4-3. And just a couple moments ago, with all day to walk in, Bertuccio Pereira gets to the goal, picks up his first goal of the season to make it 5-3 Athens. Indiana continuing to push. Colarusso unable to keep this in at the blue line. Back comes Virgili. His pass across. Terrain, a good job on the poke check. Sends Bormanis back the other way. He's got Zinchenko going to the net. There's the pass. It was behind him. Zinchenko also well covered there by Paralat, who now has it. Neal sent it out to the neutral zone. Virgili settling this one down. Leaving it off for Paralat. Paralat, the spin around pass. Missed. Zinchenko will clear. Dump back in deep by the Rock Lobsters. Panavanov will wheel and throw it up ahead for Dawson. Bounces to his stick. Dawson across. There's a shot coming from Powell as it was on his backhand. Had to force it to his forehand, and by the time he did so, he was in a little bit too tight. And a good stop required there from Sales. He gobbled that one up. That was a friendly hop there off the wall. It hit one of the Rock Lobsters. That pass up ahead to Dawson. It was going to go all the way down, but it hit one of the Rock Lobsters, went right to Dawson's stick. He's able to move it across there to, Powell. Unfortunately for Powell, it was on his backhand. He couldn't release it right away like he wanted to. He was working on some one-timers in the morning. Skateinen was really letting him rip right under the crossbar. So if that was on his tape, I'm sure we'd be looking at a one-goal game. Here's Cunningham. He'll move it up ahead for Dawson. Powell gets a stick on that to knock it forward, but right to the hands of the Rock Lobsters. Shinkarik up ahead. Anderson in the way of that pass. Trying to bully his way through John Calgian. Now they battle for it just in front of the Rock Lobsters bench. It's dumped in. Olsen there to stop it in behind his own net. Ivan Panovanov. Up ahead, there's Phil Tomacek, 1-on-3. He'll pull up at the blue line and throw it in deep. Shinkarik there to take it away. And sent up ahead and all the way back into the Sentinel zone. Goes on net, so Olsen having to play it. We'll send it along to Ross. Zach Ross from behind his own net. Leaving it there for Tomacek, who's at his feet, but Tomacek still able to boot that one along. Didn't like what he saw on that side. Now the Sentinels are held up in their own zone. Here's Lowell in behind the net. Has Neely there. Finds him. Neely looking out to the slot. A snapshot from Ford right into the stomach of Olsen, and he'll hang on to that. 9:26 left to play in period number 3. Sentinels trailing by 2. We'll be back for the third period right after this. Back in Athens with 9:26 to play in the third period. A huge stop just a moment ago by Cooper Olsen on Gus Ford. If you're just tuning in, Ford is a goal away from picking up number 200 in his FBHL career. Ford is not a man to be trifled with. He is this team's leader in goals, points, power play goals, game-winning goals, shots on goals. There's a wrist shot deflected right off the face-off. Deflected. I believe that's by Lowell in front, just wide of the net. It pulled the fans in behind us and rippled the side of the meshing of the net. We stay 5-3. Panovanov. Send it up the wall to Bormanis. Snapshot from the blue line was whiffed on. And back comes Zinchenko over the line. Zinchenko dipping the shoulder, throwing it on net. And a good stop required there from Sales. And the Rock Lobsters will start moving back the other way. Ford leaving it off to the near side here. Bartuccio Pereira looking in front. Taken away by the Sentinels. Zinchenko 3-on-2 with Hippolyte, Smith, and Bormanis. Zinchenko overskates it just inside the blue line and whipped on the pass. Otherwise, we might have had something set up there. Here's Gus Ford. Pass out in front. Ford is there waiting on the backhand. Now curling. Ford now leaving it off to the blue line. Down low. Virgili back up top. A snapshot tipped by Virgili up over the net. Pops to the side of the goal. Ford is there. Walking to the middle. Turns and shoots. Zinchenko gets a shin pad on it. And it's cleared out of there by the Sentinels. And Powell will go the length of the ice for icing. Eight minutes left to go here in period number 3. That's now reading 39-27 in favor of the Rock Lobsters. Draw going to the right-hand side of Sentinel goaltender Cooper Olsen. Off the draw, controlled by Zinchenko. He'll flip this one high into the air, but not out. Knocked down there by Virgili. Croucher coming to the blue line. Shinkarik, the shot redirected out of play. That one ended up hitting Mack in front. Or pardon me, that's Leafers, 24, not 74. And out of play, Leafers trying to jump out of the way of that one, as that was, we've seen a couple of times today, Shinkarik could really let it fly. Nearly took out the face of his own Malik Johnson a couple moments ago here in the third period. Leafers didn't want that to happen to him. It's just a chance for Cunningham. Poking it out to the neutral zone. Shinkarik cut him off. Long dump in. Olsen gloves it down and leaves it for Ross. Zach Ross has some space in front of him, able to protect the puck. And two red jerseys end up converging on him and ends up turning it over just outside the blue line. Sent right back in by Virgili. Ross now will go to the opposite side for Willett. He pops it high up into the air and into Athens territory. Knocked down there. Taken by Dawson on the turnover. Dawson in front for Cunningham. That was cut off. Comes back to Dawson out to the blue line. Out of the reach, though, of Ross. And all the way down. Good idea there from Dawson. Try to put that to the blue line. Just unable to find the stick of Zach Ross. Malik Johnson from his own end will leave this one off. Kaljan pulling up along the half wall. Panavanov unable to clear that out. Pass out towards the slot. Caught up in the skates of Anderson and rolls into Olsen. They'll grab that and hang on to it with 6:43 remaining on the clock. Sentinels fans, make sure you get your 2026-2027 season tickets. Got a great deal, 120s off if you buy between now and May 1st for a full season, and $60 if you buy a half season plan. Make sure you get those 26-27 season tickets early. Paralat hit by Peavy in the corner. Comes up the wall on the near side. Kaljan trying to throw that one into the corner where Mack ends up getting pinned up along the wall by both Panavanov and Anderson. Stuck there along the wall, and Athens is fine with that. Indiana wants this puck to get jimmied free or a whistle. Now Kaljan around Peavy will throw it out to the blue line. Comes back to him in behind the net, escapes his reach though. And Panavanov will look up ahead for Esposito. 1-on-3. Esposito over the line. Gets knocked down to the ice. Athens will move it up. Johnson looking to Neely. He turns it over. Tomacek back the other way. Will cut to the middle. Ended up having that swatted off of his stick at the last moment. And Athens and Neely will come back down. Olsen. Really nice stop there with his right pad. It pops up into the air, and Olsen will end up grabbing that. 5:30 left to play in period number 3. Sentinels need to find a way to pick up 2 here. Raw's going to go to the right-hand side of Olsen. Off the draw. Bormanis will poke it out to the blue line. Neely there to cut him off. Now gets swatted ahead. Sent right back in again by the Lobsters. 5-man scrum in behind the Sentinel net. Won by Athens. They'll send it around the wall. Shinkarik, though, nowhere in sight. Ends up going all the way back to Athens zone where they will recollect. Ford at center ice will drop it back off to Shinkarik. He hits Lowell, who redirects it in. Willett was waiting. Picks that off and moves it to Ross. Jonas Lease over the line. Will pull up at the blue line. Pinned up along the walls. He was waiting for some line changes to happen. Athens will skate it right back out. 4.5 left to go here in period number 3. Got to think we'll see Cooper Olsen head to the bench within the next minute and a half, 2 minutes or so, as this one gets dumped into the Athens zone. Should the score at least stay 5-3. Panovanov is Virgili ended up losing an edge. Panovanov unable to get that pass. The logo at center ice. Now Esposito wheeling from his own end. Will move it up ahead for Cunningham. He's got 2 tallies today. Jonas Lees has the other one for Indiana. Now Lee first. Stopped up just inside the Sentinel zone. Colarusso a clear. Bit of a miscommunication between Anderson and Esposito as far as who would grab that puck. It goes back to Athens. Luke Froucher walking, firing, and Olsen able to extend that right leg and knock it aside. Froucher a 1-on-4 there, still able to let a hard shot go. Powell will dump this one in as he hits the red line. Zinchenko after it. Unable to win that board battle, but strips the puck away. Ended up losing it the next second. And Athens flipping it high into the air. Ross field that. And use Willett. Willett high up off the glass will get this one in. Knocked down with a high stick there by Bartuccio Pereira. Powell, though, was the next one to touch it. He'll send it in deep, so we play on. Pinned up along the wall. Hippolyte Smith able to come out to the blue line. There's Ross. D-to-D for Willett. The one-timer ping-pongs all the way through to the goal. Ends up going just wide. Now Ross at the point. Needs to be careful here. Had 2 men up top wearing red jerseys. Trying to backhand that one in deep, and it's taken away by Greco. He'll send it in to go off for a change. Ross there to grab it for the Sentinels. Zinchenko from behind his own net is forced to the wall. Clearing attempt held in at the point. Maya. His long shot deflecting out of play. We've got 2:30 on the clock here. Sentinels need to find a way to get to. We're going to step aside for one more commercial break and be back right after this. You're watching the Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network. Final 2.5 of the third period at our fingertips here. The faceoff will stay inside the Sentinel zone. Go to the right-hand side of Cooper Olsen. You got to think as soon as the Sentinels end up getting it over the red line and into the Rock Lobsters end, hopefully with possession, we'll see Cooper Olsen sprinting to the bench for the extra attacker. But you got to win this draw here and make sure you get out clean through the neutral zone. And if the Sentinels are going to play the dump and chase game, you got to pick up the puck if you're going to dump it in. This one was won by Dawson. Take it by Ross. He'll start moving out through the neutral zone. Ross over the red line will skate in with it. Olsen waiting at the hash marks. There's a shot there by Ross. Smart shot there by Zach Ross right into the stomach of the goaltender. Sales gets an offensive zone draw, and there goes Olsen to the bench. So 6 attackers out there now for the Sentinels. They're going to go with Dawson, Cunningham, Powell, and Lease, with Ross and Panovanov on the back end. Powell's going to take this draw. He's got Cunningham right behind him. Powell trying to win it straight back, was caught up in his feet. Now shoveled on net, ends up caught up on the side of the goal. And covered there by Sales as Dawson trying to shovel that one home. It was kind of caught in tight on him. Dawson couldn't get much lift. Sales making the save. And 2:13 to go. Sentinels will control off the face-off. They actually lost the draw, but Dawson picked it up in the corner. Goes out to the blue line for Ross. He'll walk and wire one. Couldn't get it past the line of D. Clearing attempt. Ross was able to knock it down. His dump in, though, hit the backside of Powell and ends up coming back into the Sentinel zone. Panavanov back to grab it. Pass for Elise, bounced over his stick, waiting in the neutral zone to throw that one on. That was Caljean. It was knocked down, though, bunted down, really, by Peavy as the Sentinels start getting some line changes. Zinchenko, Hippolyte, Smith are out there, along with Peavy. This one's dumped in by Panavanov right into the glove of Sales. So now the Sentinels able to get a full line change. Change up some personnel. .134 on the clock. And now a timeout being called here. It's going to be Everett Thompson calling the timeout. So face off to the right-hand side of the goaltender. Matt Sales. Didn't get to see exactly the grouping that Everett Thompson wants out there, but I would venture a guess that he's going to want to see a bit of the same setup on the faceoff that we just saw a moment ago, with Powell taking the draw, trying to win it directly back to what is hopefully going to end up being a left-handed shooter to get that puck off quickly behind him. No matter what, either got to win the draw or pick up the puck off of a face-off loss. It's going to go with Powell, Anderson, Cunningham, Zinchenko with Ross and Panavanov. Out back, taking the draw here is Anderson, and we do have a lefty in Cunningham right behind him. So if Anderson can win this straight back, Zinchenko goes to the net, we might be cooking. Off the draw, Rock Lobsters are able to win it. Goes out to the far side, or near side, Lowell. His clearing attempt, he whiffed on it, held in by Cunningham. Caught up in the skates of Anderson, and it boots out to the neutral zone. Sentinels still control, though. Ross moving into Zinchenko, up ahead for Anderson, waiting at the blue line. Anderson pulls up, will send it down low for Cunningham, trying to get around the linesman who's caught up in the corner there. Or the referee, pardon me, comes up the blue line. Ross holds it in once, twice. Anderson moving it to Zinchenko, whiffed on the shot attempt. Goes back to Ross. Down low for Powell. His bad angle shot. Clocked on the way through. Comes back to Powell. He'll leave it out to the blue line for Ross. To Powell towards the middle of the ice. Powell winds up and fires. That gets blocked on the way through with under a minute left. Clearing attempt. Powell able to knock it down with that big frame of his. Powell is 6'3". Panavanov will rag it back. His team getting some line changes. Dawson now out there. So is Jonas Lees. He'll bunt this one to Zinchenko. Colarusso out there as well. Dawson down low. Finding Colarusso on the far side. Half a minute to go. Back to Dawson. Up top, Panavanov. Need to start throwing pucks on net. That shot blocked. Back to Colarusso at the blue line. Over to Zinchenko. That shot redirected on net. Maybe never made it through. Cleared up the wall and out to center ice by the Rock Lobsters. So a great job by Athens to shut down the middle of the ice here in the last minute and a half. Sentinels going to lose this game by a score of 5-3 as we get the problem now along the wall. Jonas Lees getting thrown around a little bit. Dawson coming in to help him out. He and Powell getting into it. Now, behind all of them, I believe that's Cunningham, who's tied up with Luke Croucher. I don't think the Sentinels appreciated that late hit against Jonas Lees. Tempers now starting to cool down. Oh, maybe not, is now Colarusso mixing it up a little bit. Referees get in between everybody, and that will do it. So Athens picks up the 5-3 victory over the Sentinels here in game number 1 of the weekend. Final shots on goal, 43-30 in favor of Athens. We're going to step aside for a commercial break and come back with the Sentinels postgame show right after this. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Scott and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
Now we welcome you back to Athens, where the Rock Lobsters win this one by a final score of 5-3 over the Indiana Sentinels in what was just a spectacular hockey game all the way through, to be quite honest with you. Indiana playing extremely well in this hockey game from the first period all the way through to the final seconds here in the third. They had a disallowed goal by Phil Tomacek early in the first period. It was a high stick that he had knocked down. A long shot by Powell. Donovan Powell, who, what a phenomenal first game that he had in his professional career. We'll get to that in a moment. The long shot for Powell was redirected by Tomacek with a high stick. Goal was waved off, and Athens started out the scoring thanks to Joe Mack in front of the net. He chipped it over Kern into the back of the net to make it 1-0 through 20 minutes of play. In the second period, we really opened things up. 5 goals scored. 3 for Athens and 2 for the Sentinels. It was Athens who broke open the scoring. Could have been a little earlier, but Chris Kerr with a nice penalty shot save on Eli Leifers. Kerr ends up getting hurt on a scrum in front of the net. Has to leave the game and did not return. He will be out for the remainder of the weekend, it sounds like, with an upper body injury. In comes Cooper Olsen, and the first shot that he sees is a mini breakaway. Luke Croucher, going forehand, backhand, and into the back of the net to make it 2-0. Sentinels would come back. Cunningham on a wraparound after a turnover below the goal line made it 2-1. Athens and the next shift made it 3-1 on a goal by Devin Maye. 2-on-1. He's able to redirect it over a sprawled out Olsen. And Indiana then would answer with the next shift themselves, with Cunningham once again picking up goals number 11 and 12. 12 and 13 on the season. He's got 5 now in a Sentinel sweater. Really good patience holding on to the puck after a turnover. Hippolyte Smith found him at the circles. And he debated whether or not he wanted to pass the puck off, ended up sliding it through the legs of the goaltender and into the back of the net to make it 3-2. Athens then ended up getting a couple of their own to finish it out, or excuse me, only one more goal in the second period to finish it out with Carter Shinkarik, long shot from the blue line deflecting off of a stick in front, either Lise or Bo Zinchenko, and into the back of the net to make it 4-2 through 2 periods of play. And early here in the third period, Cunningham getting his third point, throwing a puck on net, got underneath the goaltender, Lise crashing in the net, able to pick it up, makes it 4-3, and Athens would put the cherry on top. A goal by Jonathan Bartuccio Pereira, his first of the season, to make it 5-3. Final shots on goal, 43-30 in favor of the Rock Lobsters. So mentioned it, there still has been only 10 games this season where the Rock Lobsters have given up less than 30 shots on goal. The Sentinels putting up 30 today, and something that they've had trouble with this season is finding ways to put pucks on net. They were able to do so today and played extremely well throughout the hockey game. Quick look around the league before we end up logging off for good. We've got a couple of finals. Binghamton, a 5-1 over Port Huron. That's actually going into the third period of play. So Binghamton putting up a crooked number in the second period there against Port Huron. Athens obviously beating Indiana here 5-3. Watertown leading 4-3 over Danbury. That one is inching closer to the end of that game, and Danbury certainly needs to figure that out. Otherwise, they will be eliminated from playoff contention. Twin City Thunderbirds now with a late goal lead this one 3-2 late in the hockey game to keep their playoff hopes alive. That is late in the third period. River Dragons and Moccasins tied at 3 through 40 minutes. Blue Ridge beating up on Biloxi. That one is 6-1 early in the third period, and out in Topeka, the Scarecrows with a 4-0 lead through 40 minutes of play there over the Zydeco. So it looks like Topeka is going to lock in their spot for the Commissioner's Cup. And that will do it for us here at the Aikens Ford Arena. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow. Puck drop, same time, 7:05. Pregame show, Body Armor pregame show with me, Andy Petzinger, will be at 6:45 p.m. You can catch all the action right here on the Sentinels Hockey Network. Big thanks to everyone behind the scenes who help us make all this possible, especially at the Ryan Furr Creative, the production crew, Ryan Furr, Jordan Vickers, Thomas Voiles, Ethan Evans, Christian Totten, and company. We want to thank you for all of your hard work. I am Andy Petzinger saying thank you for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow.